To be with you guys. We're going to jump right in. Oh man, coming off Super Bowl. All right, let's get some really important things settled as we wait for some folks to come in the room. Who were you rooting for? Rams, Bengals? Where were you at with that? Don't care, didn't care, didn't know who was playing. The halftime show, right? I don't know about you guys, but I fell in love with my generation all over again last night, where I'm like, vitality is a vibe. It's not a number, right? Look at those guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but we had the best music, you guys. All right. So that was really cool to kind of see that flashback of all the years, right? That were full of grit. So, all right, this morning we are going to talk about a couple of things that I do believe will help you to have an even sweeter Valentine's Day than I know you all are looking forward to. I do want to say, first and foremost, I love all of you. I'm so grateful that I got to be with you on Valentine's Day, because this morning in my gratitude, I was like, man, I really love this mission. I really do. And I really love all of you. And I love that we get to do this together. I love that we get to contend together, that we get to unbecome together, become more together, start dreaming together, get out of our own way together, learn the actions together. It's just, we were never meant to do hard things alone. We were not. And I know that if you're like me, you probably tried, and I tried, because I had a lot of chatter about what it meant to ask for help and all that stuff. Again, dying to that ego over time is hard. But with all of you guys, it just feels a lot easier. So I just kind of trip out that it's been 5 years in May, and I literally still jump out of bed. Does that mean I haven't got my butt kicked with this business and mission, or that I haven't had days where I'm like, one more Zoom? No, I've told you, I've had lots of those days, but all in all, in my heart, I still jump out of bed to do this every day. And I'm so excited about that. And that's really my topic for today, is loving. In the theme of Valentine's Day, I've got a couple things that I want to share that tie back to love. And when we think about the Super Bowl, or we think about the halftime show, what we're really seeing is people that love what they do and have committed to the fundamentals until they attained mastery. And if you're honest about yourself, like what you're admiring, right? What you're admiring, if you kind of dissect it, we as people, we will drive miles and miles to watch a man burn. That's a saying that people say in ministry or other things like that. What am I talking about? To see someone passionately dedicated to what they love, we as people, I mean, what was the Super Bowl ticket? How much was it? Anybody know a ticket to the Super Bowl to see the Rams and the Bengals? Where did it start at $5,000? Guys, we could go watch like a college game or whatever, right? You don't have to spend $5,000, $3,500 for nosebleeds. What that says is we love to watch people master what they love. It's something we admire. It's something we pay a great deal of money and time to do. And so today I want to tap into that for you. I want you to think about your potential and what your followers will fall in love with watching you do. What will they fall in love with watching you do over and over and over? And what about all the work behind the scenes that they will never see? These calls, the things you have to do, your lighting, your office decor, like all the things you have to do to show up that's not sexy, right? What did they have to do? Some of those players, what do you think their training was like before yesterday? How many fundamentals had to be mastered before they could put on that show for you, before they could get your admiration? It would have been very boring to watch their training. Very boring. Nobody would pay $5,000 to watch their training because it would be very, very boring and mundane. And that's really, at the end of the day, what we're contending for here is whatever we master, right, in the mundane becomes that thing that everybody wants to watch. So I want to kind of give you a couple things to think about. First of all, what do you believe about your potential? That's a big question for you that I have for you for this week that was asked of me by a business coach not long ago. He actually asked some of my leaders that. What do you believe about your potential? Because that's a very important question to reconcile before you attempt to do the mundane and master this health coaching mission and all of that. What you believe about your potential is very important. So think about that today. Really wrestle with that today and say, what do I believe? Not what my mentors want to hear, right? We don't want to hear anything but the truth, because that's what we want to coach, right? So think about that. Are you willing to master the mundane for the love of the game, right? The love of the game, the love of the mission. Are you willing to do that? Many of you have heard my story about laces and socks. It's my favorite story to illustrate mastering the mundane and being committed to the fundamentals. How many of you are starting to see that your business had bad breath? I'm going to use that example on Valentine's Day, because it doesn't matter if your spouse or partner came in and they had all the cologne on, everything looked great, they cleaned the whole house, everything that you wanted, right? Everything is going really well. And then they come up to you really close and they have really bad breath, right? It is like mood over, game over. You need to go brush your teeth. Can I please give you a stick of gum? It's going to disrupt everything, okay? No matter how many intentions you had for that day, that has to be reconciled, right? It has to be. Well, some of you might be real troopers and can get past it. I can't. So I got to deal with it and bring it out into the open. So I want you to think about what areas of your business had really stinky breath that you weren't willing to look at. And we were trying to dress it up and make our Instagram look beautiful and make ourselves look beautiful and all the things, but we were not starting conversations. We were not giving bold, loving client support. Do you know that love is telling the truth, right? So if I have a client that's like happy to place a big old full order every month, but doesn't get on calls, doesn't read their life book, doesn't check in with me, all of that, I have to love them enough to say, time out, okay? Huddle, you are going to gain all of your weight back and then some, okay? Time out. I love you enough to tell you the truth, that you're killing the nutrition side of this thing. But that's not our service. That's not our offering. Our offering is 75% non-food. So you're getting a 25% right now in terms of success, and that won't carry you 100% to transformation. I have to call that timeout in love. If I don't, I'm just winking at the fact that they're going to fail, right? So that's not loving client support. That's not loving the mission. That's taking an order. Do you love the mission or do you love the money? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves that are bad breath in our business, that we have to go, oh my gosh. And we know that they're synonymous, right? If you're really loving the people, the money follows. We already have covered that a million times, right? I'm not poo-pooing the money, but I'm saying, what's driving you? Is it the order or is it the transformation, the life change? Those are some of the things that we have to master in this business in order to really love and help and serve mankind, right? Yes, I love them both too, because they are the currency of care is what's happening in your back office for sure. So couple other questions that I have for you before I give you that laces and socks analogy. Are you the renter or the owner of your business? I could ask that differently. Are you the renter or the owner of your dreams? Are you renting them still, or are you owning them? Do you own your business or do you rent it? We'll see how this month goes. Then I'll decide if I'm going to go all in. Would we pay to see a player like that in the Super Bowl? Not even, right? Fair weather, nope, not inspiring, not inspiring at all. So let's talk about this a little bit so that we're not casual about the love for the mission, because if we're casual about it, it will be a casualty. Your business, your mission, your dreams will be a casualty if we're casual about what we do and how we do it. Okay. And I say this with all the love in the world, you guys. I really do. I want so badly for so many of you to break through. And I know that that's just your process, your timing, and I can't rush that. But today, if I teach you something, it will lead to some kind of information. But if I preach you something today, preaching means herald the truth, and it causes people to see and to act. That's the difference between, that's why these morning calls, we doing a little preaching, doing a little teaching, because we want to herald the truth that causes you to shift and have the inability to be blind. How many of you feel like, I'm not blind now? I see the work it takes. I have seen. I have done. I am doing. I am no longer ignorant in what it takes. I mean, give yourself a massive pat on the back for no longer being ignorant to what it takes to do this business. And we can't claim that, and we don't want to, because we're moving forward. The thing that destroys the business, destroys the mission is ego. Ego's not willing to learn. Ego's not willing to take feedback. Ego is not willing to be wrong. And so I want to share my laces and sock story as we finish up. So Kareem was playing for John Wooden. Many of you know John Wooden, UCLA basketball coach. And he comes in, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you guys might be familiar. And John Wooden sees him come in and he says, sit down, take off your shoes and socks and lace up your sneakers, right? And he just kept bouncing the ball and was like, excuse me, I'm pretty sure I know how to put my socks and shoes on and win games. Like, do you not know who I am? I have mastery. You know, I'm ego, right? So John took him aside and he lovingly spoke to him and said, listen, I know that you know how to do 3-pointers and all these things, right? But that's not how games are lost. They're lost due to the fundamentals that are ignored. Because if you get a blister on your foot because your socks are not put on the way that I know they need to be put on, and your laces are not laced up and your shoe becomes untied and you fall, he said, listen to me, we're going to lose some games, but we're not going to lose games due to the fundamentals and the things that we could control. So lace up your socks, right? Or lace up your shoes and put your socks on, and you can play for me. No matter how good you are, you need to master the mundane. And I think that that's what's happening in all of us in this series is we're learning that, you know what, guys, we've been losing games, losing shots, losing championship games because we were ignoring the fundamentals. And tying all of that back to the love in your business, show up for yourself, love yourself today, really look at, what do I believe about myself? Put in the fundamentals, give your followers something to follow. Teach them, preach with them, give them value in your feed. Tell them who you're unbecoming and invite them to come. Because at the end of the day, we have moved from this space. You got to love the change process. You remember when someone might have said to you, you have got to change. Or maybe you said it to yourself, you have got to change. Then you went to, I've got to change. Then you went to, I hope this change lasts, right? I want this change for others. I hope I can change the world. That's the process we've been going through. You have got to change all the way to, I hope I can change the world. We will change the world one person at a time if we will master and fall in love with the fundamentals. Happy Valentine's Day. Go out there and show your big old hearts to the world. We love you guys, and go win the day.